Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and is there a way back for Manchester City and Pep Guardiola? I like a crisis video like the next man or woman, but I tell you what, I think there is a conversation to be had about Manchester City, and sometimes you do it because they lose a game, but actually I think this is from a truth point that actually resonates in the fact that watching Man City against Villa last night and seeing Pep Guardiola's reaction to it, both the elation and then the frustration after the game, I think Man City are in a really interesting position that there's a lot of people thinking that Pep Guardiola is going to stay for another 2 years. I still think he could walk in the summer. I've said that. I've got a hunch about that. Maybe I'll be wrong. But can he take Man City back to where they've been? Champions League winners, treble winners, 4 Premier Leagues in 5 years winners. Can he do that even with the return of Haaland and Rodri? Or is this actually the demise of Manchester City under Pep Guardiola? It's funny, last night actually, when he was running around on the pitch after the Villa game, I saw a tweet of someone saying, wouldn't it be great if just someone ran on the pitch and handed him the 115 charge now of guilty? I thought that was a bit too far, but I suppose that's there. I wasn't going to talk about that. I suppose that is there. I want a general conversation. I wouldn't mind some Man City fans being in the comments if we can find them, and instead of moaning about how many titles they've won, actually reflecting on the situation of your football club and whether you believe it can come back. Because I tell you what, I think the sad reflection of certain, and I know Man City fans who know who Paul Dickoff is. They know who Sean Goater is. They know who Nicky Weaver is. To new Man City fans, I'm not talking about cricketers or golfers. I'm talking about former players for your club before you got money. But I think that's a problem with Man City as well. The 115, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with that. But the general malaise around their fan base, mercenary city, people call them, boring, people call them. And, that's not Pep Guardiola's fault, but he's doing a call to action saying this is a big game against Aston Villa, turn up and be loud. And there's a load of empty seats. And at 1-1 in the last 5 minutes, there's even more empty seats. I don't know what it is about Manchester City and how they solve that with their fan base, because Liverpool are packing Anfield out. They've been out of Champions League for weeks. They've not won the title yet. They're going to, but people are still turning up. Man United still pack out Old Trafford, in meaningless Premier League games. Same with Arsenal. So Man City can't fill their ground in a season-defining game against Aston Villa on a Tuesday night just after Easter. I mean, it's a worry. They just... what is it? Like, they don't have enough fans to fill the ground, or some of their fans are spoilt and go, well, we're not winning the league this year, we're out the Champions League, why should I turn up? Because that's the team you support. It's a big game. If you're not in the Champions League, you wish you did turn up. And there's loads of Man City fans who do turn up. I'm just saying, I don't understand why they can't fill their ground. The success they've had over the last 10 years. But I'm not here to talk about that because they're easy targets. They can't fill their ground, 115. I want to talk about Manchester City and the future, because I look at Pep Guardiola, and I said this a few months ago, he looks like a guy who is struggling mentally. People spoke about the scratching of the forehead and that. I still look at him and I see a guy struggling. And I think this is the problem with the way people look at things. As long as you're winning, you're okay. If you're losing, why is he losing? Is he struggling? I think he's struggling when they're winning. Pep Guardiola doesn't look physically like the man he did 2 years ago. Not in relation to like his haircut. I mean, that's the same. But I mean, like his weight or anything like that. Nothing sinister like that. I just mean his aura. His personality is not the same. Even though they're winning games yesterday, it's just not the same. He's lost his cool. He's lost his composure. He's erratic. And I just don't know whether that is exhaustion. I think he's given so many hints over his career about exhaustion at Barcelona, etc. Surely at Man City he's exhausted, and surely this was meant to be the end. And it feels like they might be prolonging something, and it could be a big mistake. And that's what I want to say. Man City in crisis is not about losing a game. They are in crisis. They've won 4 out of the 5 last Premier League titles, and they're nowhere near this one. They are in crisis. They've been a very good contender in the Champions League. They couldn't even get to the knockout stage. So they are in crisis. But they've also lost Rodri. Haaland's not been as good this year. De Bruyne is about to leave. So, Stones is injured all the time. Kyle Walker's left. They've had a lot of transition, and I've seen Man United go through that. I've seen Sir Alex Ferguson build 3 or 4 or 5 teams. But can Pep Guardiola do that? He's never done it. He's never stayed. He's always walked. He's always got out. And that's why I think he will. But if he stays, can he rebuild the way Sir Alex did? Can he build another team? Because I tell you what, credit to him if he can, but it's a big ask. It's a big ask on the part of Man City's owners, fans, and I suppose the media who kiss his arse. Like, can Pep Guardiola do this? Should he do this? I don't like his style of football. Slow Sports News. I don't like Pep's style of football. At no point yesterday did I enjoy Man City's second half, even though they deserved to win. I don't like his probing little tiki-taka passing. The goal came from bringing on a player that he's sidelined for months, skipping past the player and putting a cross in. I liked the winning goal, but Doku, Savio, Grealish sat on the bench all the bloody time because that's Pep. It's not about individualism. It's not about flair. It's about the system. It's about the Pep system. So I hope he doesn't come back. I hope he does leave. I hope if he stays, Man City fail. But I pose the question to you. Are you expecting to see a Man City renaissance where they juggernaut their way to 3 or 4 Premier League titles in the next 5 or 6 years? I think Arsenal are winning the league next year. And if Arsenal aren't winning the league next year, I think Liverpool are winning the league next year. I don't think Man City, even with Haaland and Rodri, are going to come back the way they have. I think those days are gone. I think that reputation, almost bully tactics that you get when you're the top. And I don't mean bully in the way that they're taking everyone's dinner money or anything like that. They don't need it. They've got their own money. But what I mean is, like, I think Man City could wander into games over the last 5 years and go, well, Man City, you're going to sit back and be scared of us and we're going to probe and score at some point. I think teams have a go now. And fair play to Man City, the way that they've rediscovered some form in the last 5 games. But come on, if they're celebrating top 5, have you looked at how much money they spent in January? 200 million euros. Have you looked at the team at the start? So they started the season with the best team in the league and then they spent £200 million in January. I mean, I think if you're not in top 5, that's not even a crisis. That's criminal. So they were always going to get top 5, and the FA Cup's there. It's their third, if they get into the final, what is this, their third FA Cup final in a row? They'll probably win that. But it's not the season they wanted. Man City have to win the Premier League. Man City have to go and win the Champions League. I don't know that that's possible. And if I was Pep Guardiola, he's a far better coach than me or you. He surely looks at it, looks at the scene and goes, I don't know whether we can go again. And the danger he's got is that if he tries to go again and next season is like this season, that's when people start to say it's time for Pep to go. Whereas I think if he goes in the summer, he goes with his head held high. Whereas if he stays for another season and has a season like this, people will be saying it's time to go, and then he damages his reputation. So it's stick or twist, isn't it, really? It's go or stay. But if he stays, he's got to take Man City straight back into a title race. Now, some would say, come on, the resources they've got, the players they've got, they'll be in a title race next year. But, well, they'll have money in the summer. I mean, if they don't get done, they'll have money. They've got amazing revenues. They've got the Club World Cup. That's 50 million quid. Maybe he'll leave after the Club World Cup. I just think Man City, that's football, and we're capable of having grown-up conversations. We've had grown-up conversations about Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, many other clubs. This is a grown-up conversation about Manchester City. This is not, 115, or they've got no fans, or Pep plays anti-football, or anything like that. This is, if Pep Guardiola is staying, is this just a blip season for Man City, and are they back up there next year? And I'm not so sure. I'm really not so sure. I think some of these players are damaged. Remember, Haaland's been around for most of the season. He's not been injured for most of the season. Rodri is a huge loss, and that's where I want to finish, really. I think Man City fell apart because they didn't have Rodri. If Rodri comes back and they're brilliant again, it ain't Pep. It's Rodri, innit? And that's where I would say Pep Guardiola is gambling his whole reputation at Man City on, is that actually it's not about him, it's about Rodri. I think Rodri is the key to everything. And we've been skirting around it all season. Get your comments in. What are your thoughts? Do you see Man City bouncing back to the dominant force they have been next season? Or do you think this could be Pep Guardiola's worst mistake in staying and a long goodbye? Get your comments in. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you on the next one.